be able to see the screen better. I especially want to thank all the people associated with the Summit Project, the CCC folks, and Mayor Schaefer from Summersville. You know, when we get to Mayor Summersville over here, it's a pretty big day. I had him here in August in the parade, and I was tickled to death. So welcome, Bob. We're here tonight to talk about what I consider to be probably or possibly a very, very, very big opportunity for Nicholas County and Richwood, West Virginia. It involves Boy Scouts. If you can think of anything more American than Boy Scouts, I don't know what it is. As everybody's aware, that the Summit Project is, of course, in Fayette County, and that's where the initial and most impact will be for, at least initially. But this thing is so huge, and it's going to be so huge, it's going to affect not only the surrounding area, but the whole state of West Virginia. And I think we owe a big debt of gratitude to our political leaders that were on board and brought this to the state of West Virginia. It was a very, very competitive undertaking, and they have many other sites and opportunities to go to other states. I think the state of West Virginia did an excellent job in showing what we have to offer and what we look like as far as the state and communities are concerned. I'm not here to speak all night. Greg Tucker's not here tonight. He threatened me the last time. He said, "How long are you going to speak?" And I said, 2 minutes. He said, "If you go over, I'm going to shoot you." So I said, sometimes I can't say good evening in 2 minutes. But anyhow, tonight we're going to have a presentation by the Assistant Manager of Programs for the Summit. That young man is Dave Kopsa. He's pretty widely traveled. He tells me he comes from the far west almost, and quite frankly, I think it was a good, as they say in the media business, a good get for West Virginia. So, Dave, come up and show us something about the Summit, please. Give Dave a hand.
Far west of Iowa City, Iowa. Truly the frontier of America, yes. And spent my last 5 years at the Boy Scouts' largest property, Philmont Scout Ranch in northeastern New Mexico. And had a great opportunity to come here to West Virginia. I'm very happy to be here. Tonight, what I'm going to do is kind of take you through the story of the summit, how we came about to wanting to purchase a site like this, how we settled on West Virginia, and kind of what's going to be happening here as we build up to our inaugural event, the 2013 National Jamboree. Our first official event will be the Jamboree 2013, July 15th, 2013. We'll be opening our doors to around 40,000 scouts from all across the country, and some from other parts of the world. It'll be a great experience. The numbers are basically 40,000 scouts and somewhere between 7,000 and 8,000 staff members. So it's going to be a lot of people for 10 days here in West Virginia, and we're very excited about it. So since 1981, the Boy Scouts of America have held their national jamborees at Fort A.P. Hill, a military base in Virginia. And in 2005, we had our jamboree there, but as we were leading up to it, there was some concerns with the ever-increasing schedule of our military that land would not be available to us in 2005 or 2007. Yeah, that's right. Jamborees. Actually, 2005 and 2010. And so that spurred us to want to be prepared. It's an important part of the Boy Scout motto. It is the Boy Scout motto. And we started on a search for a permanent home for the National Jamboree. a big part of that search and the start of it was a pledge from Stephen Bechtel of the Stephen G. Bechtel Jr. Foundation, about $50 million for the eventual purchase of the site that we decided upon. Mr. Bechtel is the owner of a huge, very, very large worldwide construction company, and his $50 million is really what allowed us to be assured that we could fulfill this quest for a site. After that, we asked for proposals for sites. We received over 80 proposals from 28 states, proposals from each time zone. I covered a wide variety of the United States. And we started zeroing in, well, a couple of reasons, a couple of things we were wanting in a site. First, we wanted to go to a place where we'd have the support of the local and state governments. We didn't want to be fighting that battle as we were going through this process. We wanted to be make sure that we had great support there with the government where we ended up. We wanted to be close in proximity to 4-lane roads, a couple of them, and we wanted access to world-class outdoor adventure and a location that was already known for its outdoor experiences and opportunities. So, why did we decide on West Virginia? Well, a big reason, you may not know, the summit site is within a 10-hour drive of 66% of the United States population. 10 hours is an important number because within scouting, the rule is that a scout troop cannot travel farther than 10 hours, cannot drive farther than 10 hours in one day. So with this site, we are within 66% of the population of the United States. 66% of our scouts are within 1 day's drive of the site. We think that is incredibly important to have great access to this site. We're also within 33% of the population of Canada, so that's going to be important as well. With the road system, we've got Highway 19 right across, right basically on our border. We have Interstate 64 and 77. So looking at those three things, in addition to that, the state of West Virginia and the Boy Scouts of America go together like peas and carrots. That's what then Governor Joe Manchin said, now Senator. Governor Manchin flew down and met with the leaders of the Boy Scouts of America and pledged the full support of the West Virginia government. And that was such a huge and important part of why we came here to West Virginia. Here you see the then governor with our volunteer national president, Rex Tillerson, who is the president of ExxonMobil. The relationship we've had with the government, as I said, is incredibly important, and we're very excited to be here. That support has continued through our current governor, continues hopefully through the extent of the project. What you see here is kind of the development plan, the complete development plan for the site. Right now we're focused on these 40,000 people, 48,000 people roughly that are going to be here for the Jamboree. So what we're doing, we're working on about 1,200 acres of the 10,000 acres of the site that will be used to host Jamboree in 2013. I'll give you a quick tour of what has been done. These areas right here are the village areas. This is where the kids will be living while they're here, and the staff, during the 10 days of the Jamboree. Construction started basically last October. We had the groundbreaking. Basically from October to June, they were flattening hills. I don't know if you guys have ever camped before, but when I camp, I don't like to slide out the front of my tent. So we had to find flat spots for 48,000 people. Not a small project here in West Virginia. So that portion of the grading has kind of been finished off this last summer. We've started working on the infrastructure, laying power lines, sewage and all that kind of stuff. We've also started working on our program infrastructure. I'm very excited. The areas, what you'll have is this area right here what we call Mayhem Mountain. It's going to be home to our extreme sports area, which will include BMX, biking, skateboarding, mountain boarding. These are just things that we haven't typically done in scouting before. And that's kind of our model. We want to be doing new, exciting things at the Jamboree. Right here are 2 shooting sports activity areas. This is our archery area. We'll have your standard field target archery. We'll also have 3D field archery with the foam animal targets. We've got something really cool. It's going to be action archery. It's kind of like clay shooting for arrows. The machine throws a foam disc up and they try to hit the moving target with their bows and arrows. Really cool stuff. And then we have our firearms shooting sports area here. At AP Hill is a military base, so we're limited to short-range firearms, shotguns, and black powder rifle. Here, we can do whatever we've designed the site for. We're designing a world-class facility that'll have skeet, trap shooting, clay pigeons, rifles, pistol shooting for our venturing scouts. Really world-class area. Right here is Adventure Valley. Adventure Valley has a lot of exciting stuff in it. It has around 37 miles. It'll have around 37 miles of mountain bike trail. It'll have really top of the line challenge courses. It will have an incredibly large climbing facility, both natural rock and one of the largest artificial rock climbing infrastructures in the world. And we have here and here are 2 big zip lines. This zip line right here is 4,000 feet long, almost just shy of a mile, 1,000 feet shy of a mile. That's kind of the epitome of what the kids want to do. Our motto, the way we've been tackling this project is we're trying to provide the kids something that they want. We want to make sure we're listening to our customers, and we figured out that kids today want to go down 80 miles an hour head first on a zip line with their hair on fire while they text their friends and tell them how cool they are because of what they're doing. So that's kind of our motto. That's our customer. That's who we're trying to keep in mind and provide great stuff for. Out here is the canopy tour area. Canopy tours, you guys are familiar with those. This is the kind of stuff that happens at Class 6. Bonsai that built those zip lines and canopy tours are going to be there. But they're going to have, I think, 8 or 9 different tour routes in that canopy tour base camp. So a lot of great stuff. In the past, the Jamborees, every activity that the kids did had to be taken down after those 10 days. Now we can really build some permanent, exciting, world-class facilities. And when they come to the Jamboree, our goal is to give them one of the most exciting and modern, cutting-edge programs that we can. Speaking of modern, right here, we'll have a technology-based camp with all sorts of high-tech science technology displays and activities for them to do. So, right here is the Summit Center area. This area during the Jamboree will be open to the public for a day fee. Not just scouts that aren't to the Jamboree, but the general public at large. And in the Summit Center, you'll find our largest retail outlets, our scouting museum, lots of our exhibits and displays. But the really cool stuff is going to be over here in Action Point, where all the activities I just spoke about in those base camp areas, that's going to be only the scouts that come to the Jamboree. But in Action Point, we'll have smaller versions of all those activities in and around Action Point, so that the people come for the day they'll go on a smaller zip line. We have a shorter canopy tour routes. We'll have climbing walls, mountain bike trails, so that people can get a taste of what the kids are doing out in the base camp area. So that's a tour of the Jamboree footprint. This is about, like I said, about 1,300 acres of the 2,000. A little closer view of the Summit Center. Right here is our arena, built to hold around 80,000 people. We have 2 big arena shows, the opening show on Tuesday at the Jamboree, and then Sunday night at the Jamboree is the big show. Have musical acts, it'll have fireworks, and all the day visitors that come that day will be able to stay for that. And like I said, we're building it to hold around 80,000 people. So very exciting stuff there. Here's some aerial photography that was actually recently taken. You can see the areas where we've cleared for the scouts to start living. You can even see grass starting to grow. This is the Summit Center area and the Action Point. This up here is the staff village. That's where all the staff members will live while they're here for the Jamboree. That's another view of it. A lot of land we cleared here. Here is a model of what the camps that the kids will stay in while they're at the Jamboree. A big difference between this Jamboree and past Jamborees is that we're providing all the gear you see here. In the past, we had no permanent home. We couldn't store gear like this. So the troops, the councils had to buy all the tents, all that stuff. When a kid comes to the 2013 Jamboree, all they'll have to bring is a duffel bag that we'll send them, full of their clothes, a sleeping bag, a mess kit, and a couple water bottles. Everything else, the tent, the cot, the picnic tables, the shelters, the stoves, the cooking pots, will all be provided to them. There's two parts to a Jamboree fee. There's the fee that the Jamboree charges, and then the local council has to factor in their transportation. We've raised from the 2010 Jamboree, we're raising at $50 the fee to cover this equipment. But that means that the councils don't have to spend nearly as much money. We're finding that councils are lowering their total fees anywhere between $150 to $300 because of this. So by us increasing by 50, we're lowering the price by almost $300 for a lot of kids. So we have a brand new site, and the first Jamboree that we're going to host is going to be cheaper than the last one we hosted for the vast majority of our participants. So we're really excited about that. It's going to be even more cheaper for the Buckskin Council Scouts. So half a tank of gas plus $850. Very exciting. Here's some more pictures of the equipment. We talked a couple things. People are always asking me about jobs. The Boy Scouts of America, we have about 8 employees at the office right now. Most of the work and jobs that are available are through the developer, Trinity Works. And our contract with them stipulates that they hire 80% of their subcontractors from West Virginia. So that's where the majority right now of those jobs locally are coming from. The other 20% comes from a lot of the action sports consultants that are building our BMX trails, our climbing walls, and stuff like that. The other point about this, you saw a lot of that empty space and all those trees we cut down. Well, it's very important as we build this site to be as sustainable as we possibly can, with green energy and all that sort of things. The wood here that is being used to build our shower houses and bathrooms, these are the trees we cut down. We cut them down and sent them out to be milled, and are now using them to build around 350 shower houses in the hopes that the Scouts will take one shower during their 10 days here.
And they were very much appreciated.
So the developer right now, this is a very, even to get just the 1,200, 1,300 acres of stuff ready for 2013, it's happening at a lightning pace. When the weather allows for it, the developer is running 2 10-hour shifts a day from Monday through Saturday. They use all sorts of technology to do this, and the graders that they use have GPS units on each end of the shovel, so they can grade the road at night. The satellites from space tell them that they're at a certain angle. They don't even have to see the road. They're using every advantage they can to make sure that we're ready for 2013. Here's again some more of the equipment, the pictures. Like I said, some of the best people in the business are coming in to build our action sport areas. For example, the extreme sports area is being built by Spawn Ranch, who's designed all these Summer X games for the last 17 years. So, and all those companies have kind of a similar pedigree. This past summer, our first event that brought Scouts to West Virginia for the summit was Summit Corps, where over 1,200 members of the Order Area constructed a 12.8-mile stacked loop mountain bike trail, which sounds really exciting. I'm not sure exactly what a stacked loop is, but I'm sure it's great. And we built this not on our property. This isn't part of the 37 miles of mountain bikes trails we'll have on the property. This was in the New River Gorge, open to the public. And we felt it was we were really excited that one of the first things we could do is to come here and do a service project that was going to benefit all of southern West Virginia. and that's why we're here tonight. For the first time in the Jamboree's history, each participant at the 2013 Jamboree will spend one of their days, their troop will go out for one day and spend the day working on a project here in southern West Virginia to the benefit of this community here. And we're really excited about it. Again, it's the first time we've tried something like this, but I feel it's going to be one of the most important things that we do in our Jamboree here. I think it will be hugely important for the relationship between the Boy Scouts of America and Southern West Virginia, and we want it to be successful. We want it to be as successful as it possibly can be. But there's no way that it can be successful unless we have the input and the participation of you guys, the local community, the citizens who've been here. Like I said, Boy Scouts of America, our professional staff at the office, we've got 3 West Virginians on the staff. The rest of us have come from other posts around the Boy Scouts of America. And, you know, we're not going to be able to find, us 5 aren't going to be able to find the many, many thousands of projects that will be needed to make this happen. The Boy Scouts of America have final say on all the projects done. We say yes or no to all these projects. But the only reason we're going to say no to a project is because it's logistically something we can't do. We are not going to be sitting here and trying to tell you guys what is important for you, for your community. That's why we need you. We need you to come and tell us through the application process what projects that we could do at the 2013 Jamboree that would be meaningful to you, Southern West Virginia, and these communities. So it's so important that we have your participation in this process, because if we don't, then it's just going to be me trying to find things to do, and you guys don't want that, trust me. So I'm going to close out this presentation with a video here, a couple more points to make. The process, a lot of people ask, you know, how are we funding this? 4 weeks ago, we had $100 million. A week later, we had about $174 million. And some other recent gifts, Jim Justice pledged a $25 million gift. Currently, we're at about $250 million rate of 400 needed for phase 1 and 2. We don't start anything until we've got it funded with money on the site. Our hope is to be doing this community service outreach in each Jamboree we do. The Jamborees happen every 4 years. We'll have one in 2013, 2017, and in 2019, 2 years after 2017, our very special event is going to be the World Jamboree. That's when scouting organizations from all across the world come together for a World Jamboree. For the first time ever, 3 nations are hosting a World Jamboree. No, that's never happened. Canada, U.S., and Mexico are going to be hosting this Jamboree here in West Virginia. It'll be the North American World Jamboree. We're very excited about that. That's going to bring a lot of people from all over the world to West Virginia that are then going to go back to their homes, and we hope to talk about what a great place West Virginia is. So I think that's going to be very exciting. The summit, the best place to go for general information, and I got all sorts of cards that will tell you, is summit.scouting.org. I have all kinds of videos, maps, pictures for download. It's a great spot. July 15th through 24th, 2013, the National Jamboree. That's what we're here to get ready for in the communities. And I'll close with I always forget to make this point. Venturing, our high school age program, is now able to register as participants. That means that the Jamboree will be open to males and female participants. In the past, the only way females could participate is as staff, but now it will be open to both males and females. I think that's going to be a very cool and exciting addition. So I'll show this video, and thank you so much for coming in your time tonight.
Family National Scout Reserve, the Summit for short, and there's nothing else like it on Earth. It's high adventure. The Summit sits on more than 10,000 acres and one of the greatest outdoor playgrounds in the world. It's a gathering and more. The Summit is the new permanent home of the National Scout Jamboree. It's the future shaped by you, today's Scouts. You're setting the course for the next century of scouting, and it leads to the Summit. The Summit will host the 2013 National Scout Jamboree, and plans for the largest youth gathering in the world couldn't be bigger. It began with a history-making $50 million donation from the Stephen D. Bechtel Jr. Foundation, the largest in scouting history, and with millions more in charitable giving since then. The 2013 Jamboree at the Summit is shaping up to epic proportions. Visitors will have some amazing spaces to share with us at the inaugural Jamboree, and large parts of the Summit will be Scouts only during that time. Also, 2013 will be the first year to include venturing at the Jamboree. Themed sub-camps will dig deep into the action sports that are at the center of the Summit experience. Get ready. The 2013 Jamboree will be like nothing you've ever seen. The Summit is the Boy Scouts' 4th National High Adventure Base, and it's going to be intense. The High Adventure Base at the Summit Bechtel Reserve will be a chance for Scouts to take on unlimited outdoor challenges, all in one place. The result is friendship, leadership, and memories that will last a lifetime. The Summit is an opportunity for every Scout to come away with unforgettable experiences forged in adventure. The Summit puts everything cool about scouting in one place. This setting, this experience, this kind of scouting, it's life-changing.
All right, very exciting. Thank you guys so much. Appreciate it.
Dave, I'm just wondering whether Iowa has been moved in the last 50 years. It seems to me like it wasn't situated where it was when I was in school. Maybe that's why I had to take geography twice. So, anyhow, thank you so much for that presentation. I think very, very informative. It's very exciting to me, and I think it will be for all of us when we get further into this. To make this volunteer community service program work, the Boy Scouts have brought on board a group called, an organization called the Citizens Conservation Corps of West Virginia. I'll be the first to admit I hadn't heard of it before, so I started going to these meetings. I found out pretty quick they've got some pretty able people, but they also got a pretty big task ahead of them. I found out real quick that they're going to be up to the task and up to the chore, primarily because of the good people they have, but also under the guidance, leadership, and direction of its CEO, who is Robert Martin. He's with us tonight. He's going to tell us a little bit about how the CCC is going to pull this thing off, and it's going to be under their guidance and direction, but it's also going to be through the help of the people in the local communities. So, Robert, welcome to Ridgewood, and come up and tell us a little bit about the program.
Thank you, Mayor McClellan. Good evening, Ridgewood.
Good evening.
I'll tell you a little bit about the CCC. Some of you may know a little bit about the CCC. We are the grandchild of the original Civilian Conservation Corps. And for those of you who are history buffs, back during the Great Depression, when the country had a lot of hopelessness and a lot of despair, arguably the greatest president who ever lived, and I will argue with you, was Franklin Delano Roosevelt. And he had a brain trust and a group of ideas called the New Deal. And one of my favorite programs of the New Deal was the Civilian Conservation Corps, otherwise most famously known as the CCC. So what did the CCC do and who were they? The CCC was young men between the ages of 16 and 26 years of age. And what did they do? They went out into the country, into the countrysides, and they planted 3 billion trees. They built trails. They built roads. They built sewer systems. They laid water lines. They created national parks. They restored hope within communities. And how did they do that? They worked for a meager wage of $30 a month. But guess what? Franklin Delano Roosevelt mandated that $25 of their $30 wage was sent back to their families so that those families could help buy goods and re-establish a strong community. So this was a great, great program. So the difference between the CCC of old and the CCC of today is that there were only young men. So I'm happy to report to you that we have evolved a little bit. And, you know, women's rights and all that sort of thing, but pretty much there are females and everyone is accepted into the CCC these days. And you might ask, where can you find the CCC? Well, our banner project, and some of you may know a little bit about it, is called the West Virginia Courtesy Patrol that came into existence in 1998 under the Underwood administration. And those are the white trucks, Ford F-150s, that go ride backwards and forth on all the full-lane highways in the state of West Virginia, assisting stranded motors. That's a national model, and it's former welfare recipients who are the recipients of the drivers in these trucks. So it's a national model for excellence, and the highest retention rate in the country is 78%. The other project that we're very proud of is a project called the First Tee of West Virginia. We have 6 sites around the state of West Virginia wherein we have youth development, and the vehicle is through the game of golf. We teach young people about character, and we're also in 20 high schools, soon 20 elementary schools, soon to go into 50 elementary schools all around the state, teaching character education as a piece of the curriculum within these schools. The other projects, we're at Burning Rock Outdoor Adventure Park down in Raleigh County, and what do there? We're building trails for 4-wheelers and outdoor enthusiasts. We work in the National Park Service doing historical renovations. We're also general contractors. We build trails, we're doing signage and things of that. We do backlog maintenance projects at the Mining Academy. We're at the C&O Canal up north. We're at Harper's Ferry. We build a lot of major trail building throughout the state. We manage watershed projects in 12 states. So I'm not bragging, but I'm telling you, I think that's why the Boy Scouts may have selected us to help them out as we move into these communities all around the state. So we are the clearinghouse for all the community service projects that are going to go on in the 9 southern counties, which are Nicholas County, Fayette, Raleigh, Wyoming, Summers, McDowell, Mercer, and Monroe, and I think I missed one. Greenbrier. Thank you, Greenbrier County. Okay, so what is that going to look like? And hold on to your britches because it's going to be an interesting process. In each county, we are naming a champion. So that champion is Steve Antoline in this county. And supposedly, the champion has his finger on the pulse of the community and works with all the politicians, all the movers and shakers, and really knows all the community service people in this county. So we've already begun that process. But what does that mean for the region as a whole? It's going to look like this. Each day, for 5 days, the Boy Scouts are going to put 8,000 young people on approximately 245 buses going into 9 counties doing 20 to 25 projects per day. Monumental task. So that's why we're here this evening. As David told you all earlier, we need the community's input. We're not going to come and dictate to you and tell you what you need. I don't know what you need, but you know what? That's your job to tell me what you need. So we can work with you, coordinate your efforts, bring the fundraising abilities to you, whatever tools are needed. What types of projects are we going to do? We're gonna help you with your rail to trail projects. We're gonna build community gardens. We're gonna do some demolition. We're gonna do work with Habitat for Humanity, weatherization, demolition. We're gonna be on your creek banks, look at wildlife habitat, you name it. I mean, think outside of the box. And we'll work with you and work with the Boy Scouts to determine how we're gonna get into the counties. So 20 to 25 projects per county. So that means that approximately every morning at around, I guess the buses hit your county door at about 9 o'clock. You are going to have about 25 buses with 40 people on each bus coming to do those 20 to 25 projects. A huge undertaking. So hopefully you're excited about this. This has been referred to as a game changer. This is one of the first times ever that we're going to have an opportunity to do something of this magnitude and have people to come in and supply the labor to help us revitalize our communities. Now, it's not just going to be the Boy Scouts. We're going to work with the National Guard. We're going to work with engineers. We're going to bring the CCC is going to work with church groups. We're going to work with the high schools, with community colleges, with our universities. And we're going to bring an additional 25 to 4,000 volunteers outside of this state into West Virginia to assist us. So that means roughly you have about 1,100 people on the ground per day. But it's up to you all to work with us to pre-plan these projects. When those young people get off of those buses, we're ready and waiting. Hopefully that's not asking too much, okay? So I'm not gonna steal Steve Ferguson's thunder because he's gonna tell you really what that means to Nicholas County. So hopefully I told you a little bit about why we're here. Join us in the process. I'm looking forward to you. Thank you very much.
Anybody excited yet?
Yeah.
You know, we've had a lot of people leave here over the years and go on to bigger and better things and for different reasons have left. And we had a family who left us probably 25 years ago, at least one. And they didn't go very far. They just went to Summersville. Very, very, very good family, community oriented. Kind, cheerful, and nice. My wife and the man I'm introduced to you here, his sister, graduated from high school together and they're best friends to this day, and I won't tell you how many years ago that's been. But anyhow, just to show you, I can make it brief. Steve Ferguson is back in Richwood tonight. He's working on this project for the Boy Scouts and CCC. And I tell you what, they couldn't have picked, or a better person couldn't have stepped up and volunteered his service to this project than Steve Ferguson. He's been successful at what he's done along with his family effort, and I congratulate Steve and his family on what they have done. Anyhow, Steve, would you come forward and tell us about the fundraising portion of this, please?
Thanks, John. It's good to be back in Richwood. Class of 1974. You can do the math. I usually don't take notes, and Robert, my good friend Robert Schaefer said, Steve, just tear the notes up. You do better just speaking. But this is so important. I want to make sure that I go through and hit what I'm supposed to let you all know about. Because this is really the nuts and the bolts of what we as communities have to do to take advantage of this great opportunity. First of all, Steve Anlai is a good friend of mine. He's actually the champion of Nicholas County. He would have been here tonight. He was on the board and actually good friends with Mylan Mike Puskar, who was such a friend to the university, and he passed away last week, and Steve's actually out of services, or he would have been here if it hadn't been those circumstances. And he asked me to kind of fill in, and I told him I would be glad to do that. Let me tell you what I don't know first. I don't know the number of the projects, that's going to happen. I don't know the location of the projects that's going to happen. I don't know the economic impact of the selected projects. I don't know the personal cost versus the benefit of these projects. And what I mean by that is there are some costs to the community. There's time. There's going to be fundraising. There's going to be money. And I don't know if that cost is going to translate into the benefit that we'll get. I don't know the integral process that they're going to go through to select these projects. They do have a process, and I'm impressed with the Boy Scouts, the CCC, of how they're going to go through and actually screen these projects for acceptance. Now that's what I don't know. Let me tell you a little bit about what I do know. Nicholas County is one of 9 counties that they feel and they have targeted around this National Scout Jamboree, the National Scout Reserve, that they think it's going to have a large impact. And so they've identified that. The second thing I know is there's 40,000 scouts coming whether we're ready or not. They're coming in 2013. Of those scouts, when I say scouts, it's scouts leaders, that's what they're advertising. There's a lot of them that won't come, and that's over a 2-week period. There's a lot of them that, my understanding, that won't come. Their families may bring them. It's just not like they're going to come in and drop them off. A lot of times their families travel with them, and they don't go to the Jamboree. They're going to be in our communities. They're going to do 300,000 community service hours. That was probably about the number of hours that was spent on the forward console job last year. That's a lot of hours. 33,333 hours of those scouts are going to be right here in Nicholas County. We do have a great champion, not because he's a good friend and partner of mine. We've got the right people involved. We're going to get our share. We've got a good champion to see that. In fact, I think most of the people that's involved with this will tell you that Nicholas County is ahead of the curve in the 9 counties. They've chosen us to do some pilot projects. We'll talk about that in a little bit. The community service is going to be done over 5 days. They're here for 2 weeks. There's a five-day window when they're going to do this community service. 8,000 scouts per day are going to be in these 9 county areas. That means that almost 900 scouts a day are going to be in Nicholas County for those 5 days. The selection process. We need good projects. This is where you come in. We need to identify them. We need to get a project application filled out, whether it's you as an individual, whether it's you as a civic group, whether it's you as a church. Anybody can fill them out, but we need projects, and toward the end I'll talk about that a little bit more. The selection process, what the scouts want to do, they want to look for projects that are green friendly. They like construction projects. They like infrastructure projects. They like wellness projects. And they like arts and education projects. They don't really want to come in here and pick up a litter. It's not what they want to do. They want to come in and do something where they can come back down the road or bring their family and say, hey, I was a part of that. I was a part of this renovation at Camp Splinter. I was a part of building this park, this garden area. God bless her soul. I wish, and Mrs. Corbett will understand this. I wish Lola Lust was here, my grandmother. She took a god pile in Milltown and built a flower garden. That's the type of projects they want. Okay, what I've heard, and you've heard too, $400 million in phase 1 for 1,200 to 2,000 acres, 10,000 acre project. They are talking about when this thing's finished, it will be a $1 billion investment. Guys don't have to be the best accountant, the best CPA, or the best business. There's going to be opportunities here. I don't know what they are. Can't see them. You may not be able to touch them. You may not be able to fill them. But there's an opportunity here. And shame on us if we let it go by. As I said before, we need volunteers. The unique thing about this project is it's 2013. You say, 2013? How long way away? How are we going to get ready? Well, we've got a lot to do to get ready. And we're going to talk about getting our county ready. We're going to talk about our projects. Our deadline is March, unless they've extended. It's March 31. We need to have our projects in. So that's our first stage, is identifying potential projects. Now, Steve Amrine and I talked about this, and we've talked about it with some other leaders. I see this more just Boy Scouts, and I know I'm just supposed to be here and talk about the Boy Scout project. If your project gets submitted, but it doesn't get approved that they're going to do it, we are forming a database of projects that need to be done in this county. And so what we can do if we think out of the box and big enough, number one, maybe it doesn't get selected this time around. Maybe it gets selected next time around. Maybe it's not have to be the Boy Scouts that do it. We now have a database. Maybe we go to the local church, or we go to the local Rotary, or we go to a local business and say, would you adopt this project? This was a good project. The Boy Scouts just couldn't fit it in. It still wasn't a good project. Great project. Just didn't fit for what they wanted to do. We'll take that. We now have a database of all these projects, and we'll try to hand it off to civic leaders or whatever, see if we can get it done. It's teaching us how. My big comment on the whole thing was this: the Boy Scouts are smart. Man, I should have been a scout. Well, I was a scout. I just didn't go very far. But they're smart, because you know what they're really doing here? It's not the hours you're going to get, the volunteer hours you're going to get from them. They're going to teach us how to do community service. We as adults are going to have to prepare. We're going to spend a lot more time in preparation for them than they are actually during that day. But what a great concept. What a great concept. They're going to come in here, and just like Robert said, we've got to be ready. We've got to have supplies on hand. We've got to have adult leaders. If we're building a house, we need construction people. So there's a lot of different ways that you're going to volunteer for this project. There's a lot of different ways to use your talent. My brother was the one that got all the talent as far as construction. I have none. Zero. I'm not really good at a lot of things. But I'm being used because I can sell a little bit, I can organize a little bit, and I can spread the message. Your job, even though it's a small group, it's fine. Go out and tell 10 other people. And tell 10 other people. Because this thing is a large process. So here's what you do. You stay after this formal meeting. This meeting doesn't end when the last speaker gets up. We have booths set up and tables set up for different. For example, I'm going to be the chair of the fundraising committee. I'll be at that table. If you're interested in participating in the fundraising part of a project, say, hey, Steve, I can't do a lot, but I'll help you any way I can. You know, what I envision is you got a project, you identified it, it's approved, we're going to go up there and do it here in Richwood. We're going to fix grants event. We need supplies, we need paint, we need whatever that is. Then it'll be our job to go raise monies, raise supplies, to be able to fund that, so when the Boy Scouts come in, they don't miss. Hit the ground, supplies, leadership, go. The Boy Scouts themselves, though, are going to fund some of these projects. Not fund directly, but either through the CCC or whatever, there are some grants or something that's going to be available to go into each of the 9 counties. And again, we have a great champion in Steve Amrine. We will get our fair share. So it's not all going to have to be right out of the community. The most important one I want you to go to, though, even though they're all very important, is applications and nominations. Find out, pick up a packet, find out how you fill it out, find out how you identify it. It'll tell you in there those key points: wellness, construction, you know, the ones that are green friendly, of what they're really looking for and what they would like to do. So after this is over, please go to these stations, please talk to the people there, please sign up. Even if down the road you're not sure, go ahead and sign up, give us the contact information. We'll contact you. You can ask more about it then, or you can decide a little bit later, because again, this is over 2 years. Now, a couple exciting things. I said we were a little bit ahead of the curve. I'm excited. First thing we're going to do is we're going to get into the schools. That was what they mandated me to do tonight. Try to see if I can get our superintendent to do a presentation to get our young people involved. Get good ideas from them. Teach them about community service. The second thing that we're going to do is we're going to apply, and hopefully we will be accepted for a pilot project next year, 2012, not 2013. Now, the pilot project may not have the Scouts involved. It may be the CC and their volunteers coming in, so that we can trial run and figure how this is going to go. They're going to take the buses right from the site, so that, you know, we just mimic everything. So we see how long it gets to get here to Richwood. How long they're going to be on the bus and how much work that they can actually do. So we've got some challenges ahead. We can do this, and guys, I'll leave you with this. I'm going to go back and tell you what I don't know. I don't know. I don't know if this is going to be a great thing. I don't know how much work it's going to take on us. I don't know what the Scouts really have in mind. I got a gut. And my gut tells me this is going to be good for your community. It's going to be good for our county. It's going to be good for our economics. And besides all that, it's going to be good to feel good about yourself when you do community service. If nothing else, you're going to get that out of it. And when you do things for other people and stuff, and I learned that from my parents and my grandparents, that's what you're supposed to do. That's your social responsibility. And they got it in a format that we can fulfill that responsibility. So I hope you're really considered to get involved. There's a lot of ways to get involved. And I thank you for your time, and it's good to be back in Richwood. Thank you.
Steve, you seem like you don't know a whole lot more than I do, so I guess we're about the same page. Thank you so much. It's good to have you back, Richwood. We're down to one of my favorite parts of the program, and he's sitting over there grinning. We have with us tonight, as I said, the Mayor of Summersville. I want to tell you something, folks. Mayor of Summersville has done a fantastic and a tremendous job over there, and if you don't believe me, ask anybody that you know over there or go over and talk to people. They say, yeah, Bob Schaefer's been good for Summersville. He's been helpful to me, and I am so glad that I was able to make his acquaintance, and I consider him to be my friend, and I hope that feeling's mutual. So, Bob, come on up. Bob Schaefer.
John, thank you so much for those kind words. And let me tell you, Richwood, John McClung and I have had much conversation, much dialogue, and John is a friend of mine. And John, you've been great to work with. We've assisted and aided both each other back and forth. But not only is John a friend of mine, the city of Richwood is a friend of mine, and all of its citizens. One of the things I would like to do real quick is Dave, our first speaker, which Dave did an excellent job and always does. You can tell it's in his heart. He said he was from Iowa. Well, I was born and raised in Nebraska. And I know why the Boy Scouts picked West Virginia for this site. I've had the opportunity to be on site twice, and I'm telling you, it's absolutely breathtaking. It is. I get the goosebumps. You think about America and God and country and all the great things that we live for. When you're standing over there on that site, and they've built a big platform where you can actually look over it and see what's out there, to see what they're doing, the construction. The first time I was there, we actually got down in the site. Now they kind of keep everybody up because they've got so much going on. But I'm telling you, it is so breathtaking, it's unreal. All I can think about when I'm over there is how do I make myself a young man again so I can go through and get to that stuff, because it's just going to be so awesome and so remarkable, and it's right here in our backyard. I looked at this thing tonight, and they gave us a little, and of course my computer, because I'm not very tech smart or computer smart. Matter of fact, Wally knows that. He does some computer stuff for me, or has in the past. And it said, Mayor Schaefer remarks economic impact. And Steve hit it on the nail. My good friend Steve, he said it perfectly. Don't know what that's going to be, but I can tell you one thing. I know there's going to be an economic impact. And what I would like to say about the economic impact is this, and this is the message that I would like to bring to the city of Richwood. 4.5 years ago, when I decided I was going to run and get involved in politics, and I said I wasn't going to be a politician, and darn I am. But 4.5 years ago, right after I got elected as the mayor in Summersville, one of the first things I did is I scoped out the state and said, where's it happening? Where are they doing it good? Where are things happening, and why are they happening? So I found an area in the state. As a matter of fact, it was the Bridgeport area. So I thought, I'm going to go find Bridgeport. Why did I pick Bridgeport? Well, there's a lot going on in Bridgeport. Building a brand new hospital and just all kinds of things going on. I went and visited their parks in their city. They actually have a convention center that's tied, that the city owns, that's tied to a privately owned hotel. How are they making all this happen? And it was real simple at the end of the day. They tore down all the walls. They tore down all the barriers. It's not us against you. It's not you against us. They tore down all them walls between private sector and government sector. And they said, we're all going to get in and do it together. Collaboration and cooperation. The message I bring to you all is that's what I'm about. And when I say the city of Richwood is a friend of mine, they're not only a friend of mine, they're a friend of the city of Summersville. And I think that this right here, this project that's coming, the Boy Scouts, you hear it before, build it, they're coming. No, they're coming. It's being built. They are coming. And the message that I would like to carry today about economic impact and about this scouting project and about this community service initiative is it's us. It's us. This is our opportunity as a county to realize we're all together. We're all in the same boat. We've got folks from Richwood participating in this. John's been to these meetings, but we want you in the worst way. Because you've got as much to bring to the table at this end of the county than we do the other end of the county, and I believe it, and I live it day in and day out. When you look at what you have to offer over here, from the cranberry glades to all the beauty and everything that God gave you on this side of the county, it's there. I believe in it. So, what I say and the message I bring about the economic impact is this right here is the first stage, that we as a county, the citizens of Nicholas County, can come together and hit a home run on this community service initiative, work together for the common good of the entire county, and at the end of the day, we'll all be successful. Thanks for having me, John. God bless.
I always hate to follow you. You make it tough. I've been asked to say, what impact does this have on Richwood? I don't know. I'm like Steve. I don't know. I just know, I have a gut feeling that this is going to be good for Richwood. It might take a period of time. I don't know if it's weeks, months, or years. I might not live long enough to see the impact on it. All I know is that we have to be proactive. We have to be, this project's like cutting edge technology, and we need to be on the cutting edge. And to do that, we've got to participate, we've got to step up to the plate, we've got to partner up with our friends from the other end of the county, as we call it, and we've got to think, what can we do here to utilize, don't take advantage of, but utilize our natural surroundings here. Bob mentioned whatever you mentioned, I forget, but we got so many things. We got the National Forest, Gateway to the National Forest. Dave Kopsa mentioned they were going to build a stacked loop biking trail. I had no idea what that is either, but you know what? We've got land all around us, and it's like we're surrounded by private landholders. But you know what? I think that the private landholders would be more than willing to work with us and see if we could develop something into a project that would hopefully and possibly revitalize our community. We were not successful in our South Fork Lake project, but you know what? We don't stop there. We got opportunity, but we got to step up and plate and do it. You folks coming out tonight is the first step towards that, but you got to get the people you know. We've got to go into the schools and the churches, say, let's do something. Let's quit belly aching and complaining. Great opportunity lies here, thanks to Boy Scouts and the CCC. And if we don't take advantage of it, and I don't mean take advantage, but seize the opportunity, we're making a big, big mistake, and we deserve whatever we don't get. So I'll shut up on that one and go on to the next part of the program. But all you Richwooders, I really want you to give this serious thought and consideration, and I want you to, somebody said, think outside the box. This is really, really, really the time that we have to show our colors. With us tonight, one of my favorite new people, Ray Moeller came to Nicholas County with AmeriCorps Vista program. He comes over and says, Mayor, I'm Ray Moeller and so-and-so and this and that and the other, and we talked a little bit. And you know, it didn't take very long to figure out, I'm gonna like this guy. And he came over and spoke to our council. And in fact, he's been over 2 or 3 times to speak to our council and keep us updated on what he's doing. You know, quite honestly, I thought, well, Ray will be here and make his obligatory call to Richwood, and that'll be the last we'll see of him. You know what? I can't hardly run him out of town. And I've been him glad too. He's got more ideas than my dad had back in his day. But tonight Ray's with us with AmeriCorps Vista, and he's a part of this project too. But he's also a part of Nicholas County, and I hope that Ray is going to stay on and be a bigger part of Nicholas County. So Ray, come on up and fill us in again.
It's just way too nice of an introduction, but I appreciate it. I have been in the county for the last 8 months and been enjoying getting to know the folks and the area, the territory. What a beautiful part of the country. Company's coming. When that got set around my house growing up, that's when my room got picked up, the yard got cleaned up and mowed, and things got put away, furniture got dusted. And well, folks, in 2013, as you've heard tonight, and you've probably heard previously, whether it's the family of the Scouts, whether it's folks that just come because of the publicity around the opening of the camp, or whether it's the Scouts themselves, there's going to be company coming to Nicholas County. And this is our opportunity to, they're going to be coming up our streets and down our highways, maybe even going into the hollers, depending on where these projects take place. I know that camp that we're talking about, that's off the beaten path. And lots of the other projects will probably be similar. Well, my role as a Vista was as a community and economic development coordinator. And what that's actually translated into is just trying to help communities with readiness around putting on the best front that we can because companies come into our county. We've had a couple of litter sweeps. A number of people in this room have participated in that, and that's been great. We've removed, in our most recent one, we removed 27 tons of litter from the roadsides around the county surrounding the Boy Scout camp. If you didn't get the chance to participate in the litter sweeps, we'll be doing it again next spring and next fall, and the spring leading up to the opening of the camp. But we're not just out picking up cups and cans and bottles. We're trying to influence folks to think about their communities and putting the best foot forward, because the Scouts aren't coming to pick up our litter. The Scouts aren't coming. They may do some work on demolition and construction, but they're not here to get rid of every structure that we may have that is around our county that needs to be removed. And that's the kind of things that I'm working on with the mayors and the county commission. And I really appreciate anybody being in touch with me. I'm easy to get a hold of through the city governments or the county. And I work and live in Summersville. And if there's a particular area of the county or a particular structure or a particular cleanup that I can be involved in or help bring something to, I would be glad to have you reach out to me. I'll be sticking around after the meeting and as well, if there's anything you want to bring to my attention. So again, let's put our best foot forward, be good ambassadors and hosts to these Scouts and their families, because indeed, company is coming. And to take us home tonight is going to be Greg Carter coming up and just giving us a final logistical thing on the room. Greg?
First, we want to thank you for attending tonight. Now, back in 1973, and I'm going to make this very short, but if you can imagine 20 Boy Scouts from Ravenswood, West Virginia, Troop 43, arm length apart, and walking down through Moraine State Park at the 1973 National Scout Jamboree, and this is what you heard in the background. Leave it better than you found it. Here's an opportunity for each of us to leave it better than we found it. Our community service initiative gives us an opportunity to leave our communities better than we found it. We can leave our people as better people because of this initiative. Please get involved. Take the time, talk to everybody at the booth, get the information, take it back and tell, as they said, 10 people. Let's get people involved. Get excited about this. This is a way we can improve our community and also improve ourselves at the same time. Thank you all very much for coming out tonight. As we said, we'll have somebody at all the tables. You can take as long as you need. Have a great evening, and thank you once again.